of food and culture of my outer boroughs.
You're not going to see this in Chinatown. And this is a Queens thing.
Staten Island has a lot in common with Hawaii.
I feel like I'm in another world, a good world.
I will die knowing more about China than I will ever know about the outer boroughs of my own city. But I will get a few meals in.
I'm Anthony Bourdain.
That's right.
I write, I travel, I eat, and I'm hungry for more. Typical idea of why it is that you don't live in Queens. But the next, you're not even in America. You've disappeared down some delicious rabbit hole. You find yourself in Hong Kong or Beijing, like here in Flushing, where a few feet above or below street level, and you find yourself in Henan, Tianjin, or Xi'an. Where even your Chinese friends, like my friend Chris Chung here, often don't speak the language or the dialect. People speak Mandarin in this neighborhood?
Yeah, mostly.
So you speak Cantonese?
Cantonese.
Mandarin, no.
Mandarin, no.
You're on the case, though. All right. Fortunately, Chris brought his friend Ming along, who'll be guiding us through the Golden Shopping Mall, a warren of vendors selling all sorts of mysterious and tasty specialties from all across China. A short walk through the mall and I come across something I've never seen before. Certainly not in New York, in fact, not even in China. This eerily, well, French-German pig's feet dish and, stranger and more wonderful still, head cheese Chinese style. So what do we eat here?
I think we're gonna try the pig foot
Yes.
and the head cheese.
Okay, great. This food looks French. I think this is an example of great cooking cultures end up thinking alike.
That's exactly it.
Sooner or later, any great cooking culture is going to end up cooking like the Chinese.
Right. And also Tianjin is a port, so food-wise, they're very
So
open-minded.
this food is from Tianjin.
Tianjin, yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting. This is great. Is this traditionally Chinese, this dish? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ah, there we go.
Ooh.
There you go. This looks really good. Pig's foot. No, that's fantastic.
One of those feet cooking at its best, you know?
Well, a lot of traditional Western cultures, this is fundamental. People have just kind of forgotten about these textures. Yeah. And this is something that's coming back big time, I think.
Yeah. Coming back, but it was always there, you know?
It was always there, but people who remember this dish in their childhood don't ever want to see it again. They feel a little embarrassed about it. Rich people who never had it are discovering it like it's the greatest thing ever, you know?
I believe anything from a pig is good for you anyway.
So good. This is great. I'm loving this. This place is wild, though, man. I love this. This is what Manhattan's missing. But it's this lamb burger that hits me right in the pleasure zone. Great in any language or any culture. Crisp chunks of lamb seasoned with cumin, dressed with hot peppers and pickled jalapenos. This had to be like a Muslim thing, right? The flat bread. Yeah.
There's a big Muslim community in Xi'an, which is where this dish from.
This place is unbelievable. This place is great. I've never had anything like this before. I mean, I've tasted these flavors, but I've never had this within the framework of Chinese, with that mix. This is really great.
You're not going to see this in Chinatown and Manhattan, or even Brooklyn. This is a Queens thing, you know?
Yeah.
Back through the mall and up the stairs, you find a lamb noodle shop, where the noodles for each bowl of soup are hand-pulled right in front of you. The working of the dough creating something extremely delicate and deceptively light. Something that texturally complements the fattiness and richness of the lamb. So, house specialty, lamb noodles, right? We know what we want.
Yeah.
3.
对，3碗。
3碗面。
哎。
OK。
The lamb noodle is the most famous dish in Zhengzhou City, and their weather is pretty much like New York. So they change a little bit in terms of the herb to balance the nature of the...
Right, because in Chinese cooking, foods are assigned hot or cold properties.
Yeah.
Doesn't have anything to do with the temperature necessarily, but...
Yeah, but it's the qi, internal qi.
Masterfully hand-pulled noodles, lamb meat, all swimming in a milky broth which is complemented by fragrant vegetables and herbs such as cilantro, lily buds, Chinese wolfberries, and black tree fungus. A little spice brings all these ingredients together.
Wow, that looks good. Here we go.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, man. Tastes wonderful. Really fresh. It's very unique. I haven't had anything like it.
Yeah, it's really good. And it looks heavy, but it's really light.
Yeah, it's really light.
When you go from region to region in China, the food is so different from place to place.
You know, noodle pulling from this region is a hard find in Chinatown. Real hard find. You have to come up to Flushing to get this food.
Most people know about Manhattan's Chinatown. It's where I used to go as a kid to get my Southern Cantonese and gringofied faux Chinese. You can now more easily find the real thing there, of course.
The Chinese community in New York has changed a lot since when I was a kid.
There's a lot of good stuff happening in Chinatown, although probably won't be there for too much longer. You know, Chinatown's shrinking, you know.
Well, it'll all be hipsters moving in.
That's exactly what it's going to be. You're going to have to get used to Flushing. You're going to have to get used to Bay Ridge. That's where Chinatown's going to be.
Making a Queens joke these days says more about the teller than the subject. Because it's Queens, if you're looking for sheer volume, the big mix, where the real action is. While Manhattan's Chinatown may be shrinking, the Sunset Park area of Brooklyn is on the rise.
I gotta tell you, this is exactly what I was looking for, sort of like the super dome of dim sum, right?
Yeah, it is. You know, the big dim sum houses exist in Brooklyn.
I've hooked back up with my friend Chris.
They don't do anything in a small way, do they? It's gigantic.
Dim sum done right in my book implies not just great Chinese snackies, but a certain, how should I put it, ambiance is required. Meaning a gigantic, chaotic space filled with hungry Chinese people. Large tables filled with people who may or may not even know each other, thrown together by a common love and need to put themselves in the way of the torrent of dumplings, hagao, and other assorted goodies that constitute the true joys of dim sum. It's a breakfast thing, best enjoyed on the weekends, and well, look around you. People are stacked up like airplanes over LaGuardia.
Ah, good to be here. Hungry.
See, if you're hungry, right, once you get past the line here, the cart comes and you point and the food's automatically on the table.
I love this.
Okay, so, you know, you have like the deep fried bread and it's wrapped in this steamed rice roll.
So it's like fried spoon bread.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, these are like meatballs, actually. They're filled with pork.
Oh, what's that?
It's a duck feet.
Duck feet.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Duck feet.
Oh, fantastic. I love duck feet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
This is a hands thing, yes?
Use a hand. Use a hand. Use
Yeah.
a hand, Dave.
Yeah, there's no way around it. Delicious.
It's got tripe.
Well, there's tripe in there,
Tripe in the
too.
bottom.
Oh, yeah, I'll be going for that in a minute. Oh, that's a nice combination.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. The tripe is great.
it's like a dough made with rice flour, and it's deep fried, and it's stuffed with minced pork, and sometimes there's mushrooms in it. It's a good texture difference because when you eat dim sum, not much stuff is fried. It's mostly all steamed. Some pork fat. You can taste the pork fat.
Things are going smooth here. I mean, people aren't throwing elbows and knees, grabbing food. If you were not getting the dumpling you wanted in Hong Kong, they go into the kitchen. The most popular ones, people wouldn't wait. They see the cart coming out of the kitchen. Other times, they just jam in. They don't even wait till it goes on the cart.
See, there she goes. There's a lady right there. She's grabbing the food. It's usually the ladies, too. The ladies will go. This is the hagao. Again, one of the staples of dim sum cooking. Almost always stuffed with shrimp. Your mark as a dim sum chef is you got to be able to make good hagaos.
Really?
Yeah.
This is pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Without putting too much of a point to it, you don't want to see any non-Chinese at this kind of place. It throws a whole enterprise into question.
The majority of people here, what area of China are they from?
It's still very heavily populated by the Cantonese. I think in the 80s, this whole area started to get a small Chinese population over on 8th Avenue. But this Chinatown started expanding as soon as they were able to get some chefs from Manhattan Chinatown and from Hong Kong to do some good food here.
So it all comes back to the Hong Kong crew. That's what you're
Yep.
saying. Ooh, what's that? Chicken feed? Yeah,
Want the
sure.
chicken?
Let's, you know, all the feed we can get. So I can just sit here and eat the chicken and duck feed all day long.
So it's kind of like the breakfast of champions. You know,
It's a big breakfast. It's, you know.
Sit down and eat all morning.